So I guess we have to talk about flat Earth.
Do we really have to?
Well, it's a thing, and it's my show, so yes.
I mean, it's not like all of the space programs are fake, right?
How do we know?
Yeah, how do we know?
I'm open to it.
Me too.
Is any of it real?
None of it. But don't tell anyone, okay? Wait, you're not recording this, are you?
Did I tell you about the Flat Earth, Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app?
We know.
We know.
Everyone knows. It's everywhere.
Yeah. This is just a trick, like everything at NASA. But you know what isn't? Flat Earth. Oh, shut up.
If you're not moving with flat Earth, then you're just standing still. Got that?
Flat Earth. Again. Why can't we seem to get rid of it?
Because it's probably true.
Go to commercial.
I think if people want to investigate flat Earth, they should be able to without censorship. Do your own research and always ask questions.
If you're not fighting for flat Earth, then what are you fighting for? To victory!
Space, the boundary of human achievement, the new frontier.
It's just a cough.
Yeah, right. And the Earth is flat.
In a few moments, you will have an experience which will seem completely real. It can be extremely harmful and result in severe trauma. You have 5 seconds to terminate this tape. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Flat Earth expert Mark Sargent thinks the moon landing was a hoax.
Technically, the moon itself is a hoax.
Right, but betting with Sportsbet's new iPhone app?
I could do this standing on my head.
Thanks, Gravity. Sportsbet's new iPhone app. It's foolproof.
Hold on. I know how we're different. Do you believe the Earth is flat?
I know it's flat. I walk on it.
Holy sh**.
Do you think the Earth is flat, Snoop? What do you think?
It's a flat world after all.
Smoke weed every day.
Broadcasting straight to you from a large spaceship currently at war with mainstream science. Meanwhile, the Peanut Gallery says he's taking the night off to catch up on all that secret stuff he does in the background. Watch out for the drones. He didn't write that with AI. I think he just put that in there. Welcome to Strange World, where the truth is often stranger than fiction. I'm your host, Mark Sargent, the creator of Flat Earth Clues, which propose that all of us are living inside a Truman Show enclosed structure, thousands of miles wide. Just Google Flat Earth, Mark. Yeah. If you can't find it, well, you're just not very good at the internet. Currently, the show is on Tuesday nights at 7 Pacific, 10 Eastern, and yes, Carolina, but it is not February 3rd, 2026, otherwise known as Act 3, otherwise known as America 250. All bets are off this year. Go team. Then you are listening to a rerun, right? 2026. Not kidding you. It's no joke. Don't forget the show can be found on BitChute and Brady, on Rockfin and Rumble. YouTube is not the end of Flat Earth. It is only the beginning. Quote of the day goes like these 5 things from Life's Little Book of Instructions, which you can find everywhere, from 1940. Number 46. We're going to do them all before the year's out. I swear.
How many are there?
The what?
How many are there?
There's hundreds. There's absolutely hundreds.
All right. Well, no rush.
Coincidentally, I'm not kidding. You can look this up yourself. Number 46, literally the first one on the list. DJ didn't know this. I didn't know it till tonight. You ready? Show respect for military personnel. How's that for Providence? Right there. Yeah?
Brilliant.
Yeah. I didn't have to skip. I didn't have to go forward or back. First one. Show respect for military personnel, obviously.
There we go.
Number 47, don't waste time learning the tricks of the trade. Just learn the trade. Yes and no. I believe in learning the trade, but I'm a big trick guy. So yeah, I like learning the tricks. Number 48, keep a tight rein on your temper. Yes. Bars right there. Words to live by. Keep a tight rein on your temper. Don't lose it unless you absolutely have to and there's no witnesses and you have a place to dispose of the body. Then yes. Was that out loud? Yes, it was. Supposed to be my inner narrative.
And on air.
What, on air? Well, no, come on. Lose your temper. Choose your moments. Choose your moments wisely. Come on, we've all watched movies and television shows. You're going to lose your temper. Look around first. And then, be like, oh, hey, look where we are. We're in the middle of nowhere.
What did you say again?
Number 40. Yeah. Give me that line again about my mama. Number 49, buy vegetables from truck farmers with hand-lettered signs. Yeah, you know what? That's a good one. That kind of goes along with the buy anything that kids are selling on card tables on their front lawn. Yeah. You say someone on the side of the road selling farm goods with a hand-painted sign. Yeah. See what they got.
Don't just floor it past them.
Yeah, they might have something good. Yeah, could be strawberries. Or again, it could fall into that whole, just fell off the back of a truck. Type thing. Now, if it's like a full-blown free, again, look what else they're selling in the back of the truck. If they're selling corn and car stereos, maybe not.
Some extra sweet lemonade.
Some extra sweet lemonade.
It's always too sugary.
With extra lithium. Number 50, put the cap back on the toothpaste. I have never understood that. I've only run into a couple people over the years that have done that. You got to be a special kind of lazy to not put the cap back on the toothpaste. You know what I mean? Oh, although nowadays you don't even have caps. You have those flip tops. But remember in 1940, the caps came all the way off and you could lose them and stuff. Put the cap back on the toothpaste. In fact, Peanut, if you're around, tell me in Telegram, do they even have caps on toothpaste anymore? Or are those like forever gone, like the tabs on old soda cans that used to cut your feet on the beach? Anyway, my co-host... Obviously, the always delightful, wearing camo. Yes, they're still on caps on something. Thank you, Peanut. Always delightful, DJ Curious. What's going on, DJ?
What is up, Strange World? Woo! Woo! I know I got my military gear on.
Yeah, you're looking very nice.
This is it. This is my camo.
If I get a chance during the break, I'm going to see if I can find something for the hat that's military. I just grabbed the first thing that I saw that was kind of interesting.
You came prepared. I understood the assignment.
You did. Well, I didn't know you were going to dress up.
I didn't know either until 5 minutes before the show.
This is why you and I stopped dating. Anyway, remember the best way to find other Flat Earth members like yourself is to get the Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app. It's cheap, it's easy, and you can use it to convert others into the great and powerful Flat Earth Army. Like DJ. Oh, Flat Earth Army, get it? Yeah, DJ and our special guests and other people. And
Yes, enlist.
Enlist the Flat Earth Army. Seriously, you won't regret it. There's no minimum. There's no contracts to sign. That's what I was thinking about the other day. Let me say a few words on this. I was saying that, when it comes to people's like, Mark, why isn't your channel bigger? It's like, okay, well, there's a couple of reasons for that. But I like to think that our community influences others. We influence the influencers. You know what I mean? We didn't tell, when you get into Flat Earth, whether you love it or you hate it, you're compelled to take action in some way. Like, for example, we didn't tell Howard Stern to send a team to the Raleigh conference. We certainly didn't tell Logan Paul to crash the Denver conference or have Jimmy Kimmel go, send a team to the Dallas conference and so on and so on. We didn't tell Millie Bobby Brown to make a Flat Earth video during season 1. And then by season 4, she's pulling back because now she's an A-lister, right? We didn't tell Mike Tyson to get super baked and start talking about Flat Earth, and it just goes on and on and on. Look at there's a playlist on my channel, mainstream media references. We are all over the place. So again, for the channels out there that feel bad, it's like, I'm not getting traction. It's like, no, dude, we are making the other people do the work for us. Again, Shane Dawson, look it up, 40 million hits on his Flat Earth video, right? It's like, we couldn't generate 40 million hits if we tried. We couldn't buy 40 million hits. Look up PewDiePie Flat Earth. Look up Mr. Beast Flat Earth. In fact, pick a channel and just type in whatever channel it is, Flat Earth. I almost guarantee that they've done Flat Earth videos. Find me another topic that can do that without us picking up a phone or sending a single email. They just look at it. They are compelled to address the topic. That's what I love about us.
Sure. Yeah. Enlist and cancel yourself. There you go.
There you go. Right. All right. Let's see here. Oh, sorry. So sleepy. And because it's 10 p.m. on the East Coast, it's time to say goodnight to one of our listeners. Paige. She's just pawned her 1976 The Scooby-Doo Dynamite Hour pajamas. Yep, I'm old enough to remember that. We're almost out of 1976, by the way. Got a cup of cocoa with exactly 6 tiny marshmallows, and we'll probably listen to the playback in the morning. Good night, Paige.
Good night, Paige.
Show the background, says my screen. So we're going to show the background. Hey, look at that. Military backgrounds.
Nice.
I think
look at Josh Monday with his
Josh shooting down the logo.
Giant rifle.
Blam, blam. Shoots down round table. Yeah. I didn't tell it to do that, by the way. That is straight up here. Let me do it full screen. That is just straight up AI. I just said I animate stuff on screen. You like how Vlad's head dodges?
He's like, I'm good.
Nice
try.
He doesn't even flinch.
I was kind of hoping that the snipers running around would be animated, but
I thought they would too. I tried it a couple times. It's like, nope. Well, only one time was like the laser from the sniper moving, but they wouldn't have the submarine doing anything. They didn't have the guys on the beach doing anything, or the laser tanks up in the corner. Just some random little things. Again, AI. It is a tricky bitch. Also, real quick, hey, if you're thinking about getting night vision, hint, hint, DJ, if you're thinking about getting night vision, you should go out to watchingangels.org. Yeah, mention that you saw it on Strange World. I don't know if you're getting any sort of discount because the discount's already built in, but night vision, next generation type stuff with light, it records. Again, wonderful stuff. If you're into looking at the sky, and I highly recommend it. If you ever listen to my previous shows where I say there's a lot of weird stuff up there, all I have to do is watch it with night vision. Sky is crawling with stuff. It's like They Live, only with UFOs. Although they don't call them UFOs anymore. They call them UAPs.
Not WAP. UAP.
UAP? Yeah, I don't know why they changed it. UFOs are better.
I know, way cooler, but it's too hokey, so they're trying to be more serious.
Oh, right.
Aerial phenomena.
Right. And well, along those lines, when you were giving me crap, it's like, Mark, why do you still have a Comcast address? It's like, that's so old. And I go, dude, before Comcast, I had an AOL address. And AOL is older than
herring pigeon.
The what?
You had what's it called? A herring pigeon?
A carrier pigeon?
Carrier pigeon.
I was an AOL forum consultant way back in the day when AOL was brand new and charging hundreds of dollars a month to use it. I was a forum consultant on there. And then I changed to Comcast, and now I am changing. You guys don't know, Comcast was bought out by Yahoo, so Comcast is going away slowly but surely. And so now, as of tonight, you can look it up on my channel, I have switched over to Outlook. So it's very much the same. So instead of msargent23 at comcast.net, it is msargentflatearth at outlook.com. You can just email there. It'll be super great. And if it changes in the next weeks, I'll let you know. But I'm trying out Outlook. I'm trying out some different things. So to make DJ happy, it's important that my co-host is happy.
Yeah, just, kind of bring into the modern era a little bit.
Well, yeah, I know what you're saying. So, also shout outs to Sticker Ready, Stephen Carpenter, DJ Stephen Carpenter of the Deftones. Yeah, check him out. And on Be Real TV, most notably the Dr. Green Thumb podcast. They're there wearing sunglasses and talking smooth. You know what I mean? It's morning, but they're wearing sunglasses. They're indoors. They're enjoying themselves. It's fun. And meetups. We got a couple meetups, and then we'll go straight into the guests. I do want to mention one story, though, really fast. So next Tulsa meetup, that's with Jesse, will occur on Saturday, February 7th from 6 to 9 p.m. at McNelly, South City. That's 7031 South Zurich Avenue, Tulsa, Oklahoma. You can RSVP him at 508-340-2724 or email him at 400kmileprius@gmail.com. I know it used to be 300 mile Prius, but this isn't a Mandelta effect. It's now up to 400. So there you go.
You got to be pushing 5 soon.
Pretty soon, you would think. Man drives a lot.
I have a meetup, by the way.
The what?
Nathan Thompson sent me a meetup that's he's in the works, so he wanted me to kind of just shout it out really quick.
Oh, go ahead.
It's in Tampa, Florida. It's going to be on the 22nd from 4 to 6 p.m. Details to be announced, but it's going to be with We Are Change. We got Justin there, Beyond the Frequency, the Stage, Flat Earth, and Flat Earth Disciple. So it looks like a really great meetup with some really cool people. So check out flatearthflyers@gmail.com if you're in that area and you want to make it to the Tampa, Florida meetup on the 22nd.
Cool.
Yeah.
There is also 2 other meetups. There's a Southern Tier New York meetup. That's going to be February 21st. That promo is on my channel. All the details for that. And I had to specifically say Southern Tier New York. Look, I'm not an East Coast person. I'm West Coast. West Side represent. I know. I can't pull that off, but I did.
No symbolism, remember?
Yeah, sorry. What I can throw the whatever. It's fine. Look, you wait. I'm going to put some serious symbolism on this hat before it's over. The also the meetup in Colorado, June 19th. That's way off in the distance, but make sure that promo is on my channel. Colorado, June 19th, big one. So don't miss that. And mailbag, we did get one thing in the mail, which was apparently we made the person who was sending t-shirts sad. You remember the t-shirts? We got a couple reserved for you. And the Bigfoot one, which was blue. Stefan only wears black t-shirts. You guys should know that. If you're going to send me t-shirts for Stefan Carpenter of the Deftones, make them black. And by the way, he's lost quite a bit of weight, so you don't have to send an XL. If you send an XL, he'll wear another shirt underneath it. He'll double shirt it. But if you send a straight up L, he can wear it nowadays. So this one is, as you know, allegedly, this is in black. Stefan, if you're watching.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so you have to look that. I think this would be a great concert shirt. He could totally wear this because people would be like, "What does that mean?" And Bigfoot's butt in this is very pronounced. Yeah, allegedly
that's built by Bigfoot for sure.
Yeah, that guy's ripped. He's a freaking he's huge. All right, so that's that. Is there anything else on my list of things to do? Nope.
Do we have the Nathan Thompson clip?
Oh, you want to run the Nathan Thompson clip? We can run that.
Do the Where in the World Is He?
Yeah. Let's do that, and then I'll. Sorry, guys, and then I want to talk about Artemis for just a hot minute. Let's do share because I've got this shared on Firefox. So we're gonna go to Window. Nope. We're gonna go to entire screen. Nope. Where the hell is it? Microsoft Edge tab. Window. Oh, for the love of all that is holy. Give me a second. All right, I got to copy this into. This is when browsers don't like getting along with each other. It was willing to share on the Microsoft Edge tab, but it was not willing to share on the. No, I don't want to log in. Oh. No, I can't share it. I can't do it right this second. Oh man. All right, I'll have to come back to that. Sorry, DJ.
No worries.
I was trying to do it on. So the problem is I was trying to do it inside Firefox. So when I say share screen, it'll say, do you want to share Microsoft Edge tab, window, or entire screen? But if I share entire screen, I mean, I suppose I could share entire screen. See if I could pull that off.
I can forward it back to you on Telegram if you need it.
No, it's not that. It's that it tries. I don't have a TikTok account.
Right.
So it tries to make me log into TikTok if I'm doing it. So yeah, we're gonna have to put that off. So sorry, we'll try to do that after the break. Sorry guys. I don't want to try to troubleshoot that thing at the moment. All right, let's do this before we bring on the guests. I want to mention Artemis really fast. In fact, I think I can share that because that's not forbidden. Share screen. We're going to do NASA. Hopefully you can see this, DJ. Can you see that on screen right now?
Yep.
Okay. NASA just delayed. Again, for those people, because you look to us for the space news. As you know, the Artemis 2 was supposed to launch this weekend. It is not going to. Big shocker. Actually, I thought, it's like, you know what? I thought they were going to go for it and try to do some sort of AI fake. Right now, they are not. NASA just delayed the Artemis 2 moon mission because of a giant rocket has a leak. We've seen this before. The funny that you would mention this in space.com. Yes, we have seen this before. A hydrogen leak, which is going to kick the can down the road, and it's going to kick the can down the road again. And then finally, the window is going to be gone, the launch window, and then they are going to push it off to 2027. I hope they don't. I hope they don't chicken out. But right now, this looks par for the course. Right here, this looks like it's going to happen that way. So
I wonder what the flat earth skeptics think about that. We've had a lot of comments in the chat and in the
yeah. Tell me, guys. How many times are we going to watch this? Every year they kick the can down the road. And honestly, I thought, again, 2026, America 250 Go team, I thought for sure they were going to do it this year. Once they put it on the cover of Time magazine, that iconic looking up towards the stars and the moon thing, thought they were going to do it. And right now we've got a 1 month delay, at least. So now what? You already rolled it out into the pad. You're going to roll it back? By the way, it's a bad sign if you see that thing roll back.
And it's at 1 mile an hour, by the way.
Right. We're going to put it back in the garage, which takes like 2 days. And then we're going to take it back out. And yeah, not a good sign. So yeah.
What a bummer.
I know. Thanks for playing. I really want one of my wish lists. I want to see him try. What do you got to lose this year? Why not? Half the people aren't going to believe, they'll believe anything that's on screen anyway. So if you could do some really crappy AI footage and the internet could tear it apart, you know what? Real quick, DJ, and I swear we're going to bring in the guest right after this, which is, because I want the guest to chime in eventually on this anyway, which is the Katy Perry launch had some inconsistencies, big ones, and the internet was ripping it apart. And yet, what was the repercussions of that? You know, did Katy Perry cancel her tour? No. Did Jeff Bezos, have to go into hiding? No. So again, this is my advice to whoever's out there listening. What do you got to lose at this point? Fake the launch. Do it. Do AI generated moon and stuff, and again, spice it up. Put some funk on it. Do whatever you have to. Don't do this. Don't go quietly into that good night.
We wanted the alien UFO to be tracking it. We wanted
there's so many
possibilities are so good, but no.
Don't give me this technical problem issue and then just make it go away. It's like, wow, we missed the window. Better luck next year. It's like, dude, we have played that record every year for me 35 years. So you're just gonna do it again and just let it fade away, and people are like, who cares? We got other things to worry about, maybe. All right, with that being done, who should we bring in first? You know what? Let's bring in our most common guest first. Let's just get him out of the way because it's him. And that would I'll do the quick introduction to him. That would be a longtime friend of the show, U.S. Army retired Master Gunner Brian Burton, who is been a pain in my side for I can't remember how many years, but he's helped me out a lot as well. He's really good at a lot of things. Anyway. U.S. Army retired Master Gunner Brian Burton. Hey, man, what's going on? Yeah, take off your mute button. Oh. Take off your mute button. No, I'm looking
He's
at
like,
it.
no.
There you go.
Take it off.
Take it off, Master Gunner. What's up? Welcome to Strange World. Welcome back.
How are you?
Good. What's going on?
Is that your tank in the background?
No.
Oh, okay. It's just a tank.
It's a tank.
You've
Was
got
that one that you were kind of like that you were in?
You were partial to this tank, though.
No, that's the most current one they're using.
So when did you start watching Strange World, Master Gunner? How far back do you go?
2015.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yep. Brian Burton was one of my, we'll bring in the other subject matter people or the other guests right after we tell people this. Brian Burton was one of my early subject matter experts from the U.S. Army, and he, if I'm not mistaken, I can't remember the episode number. It's in there. It's one of the playlists. It's
like 46 or something.
Yeah. I mean, it goes all the way back to 2015, and he contacted me, and we became friends.
Sure.
And we met for the first time in Dallas during the Dallas conference, and he took away all the clout that I had. I was going to do a big room party. I had snacks, I had drinks, everything was set up, and it's like, where is everybody? Oh, they're up on the top floor. Whose room is that? Oh, it's Master Gunner's. See, Master Gunner had gotten a suite, and it was like, oh, apparently that's the cool room to be in, you know. There were drugs and gambling, and it was amazing. Apparently,
what?
I couldn't even get in. They had a velvet rope. Anyway, it was super fun. All right, let's bring in. We'll do Josh next. We'll do Vlad, then we'll do Sovereign Soul. So let's bring in. Do you want to do the intro to Josh? DJ?
Sure. Strange World, welcome back, Josh Monday of the Josh Monday Christian and Conspiracy Podcast. Josh, how's it going tonight?
It's going great. How you guys doing? I appreciate you guys having us. Awesome to have military all together, and I like to see Sov too. I haven't talked to him in a long time, so it's been a while. I do watch his show, and it was nice to meet Master Gunner earlier. Nice to meet you, brother. And Mark, as always, thank you, and DJ Curious, thank you so much. Appreciate you inviting me.
Of course, yes. Thank you. Been regular on Strange World now the past year, so we appreciate you and looking forward to hearing your insights. And let's bring on, we got Vlad next, you said, Mark?
Yeah, let's do Vlad next. Vlad, here we go. Hopefully Vlad will turn on his audio. Whatever you want to do, Vlad. There's no rules here.
Yeah. Vlad from Ironwork 92,000. What's up, Vlad? Welcome back to Strange World 2.
It's good to be back, gentlemen. Thanks for having me. Much appreciated. Master Guns, what's happening? Josh Monday, what's good? How's everybody doing?
Good.
You know, it's always a pleasure, man. It's always a pleasure. I'm so interested in hearing what it is you guys are gonna predict for the future.
Ooh, yeah, we'll definitely get into that.
That's
for
all.
Sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
All right,
Okay.
and our last guest, which we're gonna have 2 rows of 3. DJ.
For the first time on Strange World, welcome Sovereign Soul Unchained Mind from the channel Sovereign Soul. Hey, it's Grandpa Sov, as I've heard him called many times. Welcome to Strange World.
Hey, thanks for having me on, man.
Yeah.
I figured I'd have to go and get some of my military garb too. You know, it's like
The Darth helmet.
yes. This is
I love it. He's ready for battle.
Was ist los, mein Freund? Yeah. I've got people. I've got people on both sides of that conflict. I had an uncle that was actually captured at Stalingrad. He made it through the war too. He actually lived.
Oh wow!
So he was Wehrmacht. He wasn't a nationalist socialist, but he was Wehrmacht. You know, that's like, because when I was under Reagan. It didn't make me a Republican.
Well, hey, let's start with you. If you don't mind, introduce yourself to the viewers if they don't know you, and let's talk about what branch of the military you were in, and we'll go from there. We'll do that introduction for all of you guys.
All right, well, start with me.
Yeah, let's start with you.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm Sovereign Soul, Unchained Mind. I have a channel both on Rumble and on YouTube. Currently under a suspension for a week for our show last night. They said it was bullying and harassing, but outside of the elite, I don't know who we would have been bullying and harassing. So YouTube supports that type of behavior out of the elite. Anyway, I was in the United States Army in 1983 to 1986. I was primarily stationed in Germany. I ended up in Frankfurt, West Germany at 5th Corps headquarters, high frequency radio. It was the height of the Cold War. There was spies everywhere. I actually have a spy story. It's kind of interesting. And I actually made a linear directional antenna communications connection from Frankfurt, Germany to Fort Hood, Texas, which is near the town of Killeen, which would be impossible on a globe. I even tried to work out what kind of a bounce that would be on the ionosphere and everything. I couldn't. All I know is the next day when I showed up to take over my post, they had replaced my RT and it was nowhere to be found. And we weren't to talk about it.
Oh, wow. Interesting stuff. Well, that's kind of going to be the focus of tonight's episode, how your time in the military service, which again, thank you to all the gentlemen that for your time and service for this country, and how that kind of shaped your FE conviction. We'll get to that, but let's go and Josh Monday, do you want to introduce yourself again and just let us know your background in the military?
Yeah, Josh Monday Christian and Conspiracy Podcast is my show, and then I also do a 2 Bible studies a week on my show and also on another show, Cult of Conspiracy Podcast, and I also do interviews on my show as well. And I was a 92 Whiskey, which is a water treatment operator, and I was also a 92 Fox, which is a fueler, and I did aviation fuel for United States Army, and I was out of the 40th Cab, and also I did fuel helicopters. So I mean, I didn't really my flat Earth belief didn't come until about 2021. So when I was in the Army, I mean, all I could say is I dealt with water, and then water is level, right? So that's about as far as I could go with my military experience with anything that would be for flat Earth, or also helicopters as well. I guess if you want to say like a helicopter, going up, the Earth is not spinning underneath it. I guess you could say that as well.
Well, sure. We'll be diving into more of the possibilities, and as you reflect back on your time in the service, what things kind of shaped your conviction, like I said. So next we got Master Gunner. I want to remind everyone again your time, and go ahead.
Let's see. I was in the Army basically from 89 to 2017.
Lean into your microphone.
No.
Yes.
I was in the Army from 89 to 2017 with a 5-year break. Invaded Kosovo, invaded Iraq. Spent all my time mostly in Iraq. So.
You said what years was that?
I went in first in 89. No, 91. And had a 5-year break in 94, and then went back in. And got retired in 17.
2017. So a long time. Yeah. And it is a little hard to hear you if you're not pointing towards your microphone.
Well, that just sucks, doesn't it?
There we go. That's better. All right. And then it looks like we got Vlad back. So, Vlad, are you with us?
Vlad, yell into the microphone.
Testing. Maybe you stepped away, maybe?
What happened? Vlad is having some audio problems, but we may have to bring him back later. Vlad, if we're talking, feel free to chime in when you're testing your microphone. It's totally fine. Although it does look like you're muted at this point.
Yeah.
Right now. And if it's your mute button, I'm going to give you some grief because that's a rookie mistake. You know that. And you hate to see it. That's still muted. Well, we'll get to him. Anyway, DJ, moving forward, we'll pick him up.
Okay, no problem. We'll be right back with Vlad. Obviously, when you get into flat Earth and you're trying to make sense of this place, this realm, all the evidence that you come across, it's like trying to piece together a puzzle, especially for the people that are maybe newer to this information of like, well, where's the credibility? And when I think of a military personnel, I think like it's hard to have more credibility in a lot of ways of your time in service and just the missions that you may have participated on and your experience in the military and how that possibly can help you piece together the truth of our realm, putting together the evidence. So I think it's really powerful when when military people speak out, because if I was showing this to some of my Globe friends, I'd be like, here's some former military. They shared their experience. This is what that gives them this conviction. And so tonight I want to go kind of in a round robin as much as we can of just any stories or anecdotes, evidence that you found really compelling to kind of help viewers out there who may or may not be able to see what the flat earth is really trying to portray, that it's like a level stationary plane, non-rotating at the center of somewhere, and go from there and just kind of have a fun, open discussion about whatever's on your mind. So I don't know if that triggered anyone, any thoughts right off the bat, but whoever wants to go first, please.
Do you want to go in the same order? Like maybe Sov can go first, me, and then Master Gunner, and then
Sure.
Vlad.
That
Oh,
works for me.
Vlad, are you back on, bro? I don't know. It looks like he's unmuted.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I'm back.
Okay.
I'm back. Can you guys
great.
hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we can.
Yes.
All
So
right.
feel free to
I
introduce
apologize for that, Tom.
That's all right. But Vlad, just for the viewers, you were in the Navy, and anything else you can give us on that?
Oh yeah, I was in the Navy. I did a little bit of time. Retired just recently. It was amazing. I'll tell you, you get a lot of exposure. I guess we could kick it off with this, right? You get a lot of exposure to the world, right? Especially if you do a lot of traveling, you're going to see a lot of things, and much of it you might take for granted strictly because of the type of job that you're doing. You see it on a daily basis, right? Whether you fly jets or whatever it is, you see the world like naked and exposed right in front of you. But you don't pay it no mind because you're just going about your business, doing your technical job. Either way, I'd say the biggest thing as far as my military service is concerned is what I got to witness, right? And I got to witness it in such a degree that I realized nobody else is going to be able to see this shit.
And so remind everyone when you started, remind really quick when you got into the military and what branch of the service. Obviously it was Navy, but what you did. Just really quick.
Navy, submarines as intel, airplanes as intel, Navy diver, electricians, mate. Yeah, I did all kinds of fun stuff.
And what year was that you started?
Man, 1999 I enlisted. I just retired in 2022 out of Whidbey Island. Woo. Right? Mark Sargent, ain't you from there?
Yeah. Yep, I'm sitting there right now.
Man. Yeah, so we had the P3s flying out of Whidbey. That's the squadron I was with.
Nice.
Yeah, good times.
Okay, great. So
yeah.
That P3, that's that same plane that landed down in Antarctica while them guys were supposedly there, huh?
Yeah. It was what was it, a Chilean P3 or something like that?
Yeah. They said it was the first time it ever happened in history that they had that plane land there.
Yeah, pretty wild.
I saw it on the website for the ALE. That's where I saw that from.
Oh yeah, I remember when Sav, you were calling up ALE trying to get all the information. That was great. I saw that on your channel. Maybe we'll get into that on the second half of the episode. But why don't we start with Sav then? If you were going to explain to someone on the Globe side and just going, hey, you don't know them from Adam, but you want to share maybe some of your military experience or your favorite flat earth evidence and kind of tie it together, what comes to mind?
Well, I would have to say now, looking back in retrospect, it didn't really click to me at the time. But like I said before, I worked high frequency radio teletype, and we were using directional antennas. In other words, you had to have the broad side of the antenna face toward the distant station. And from where I was at, I had a network of I was the net control station working for Fifth Corps headquarters. And each of the satellite stations would like kick in from like Darmstadt, these different areas. I'd have to transmit this shit all out and get radio checks. And, it was basically all kinds of Cold War crazy shit, most of it useless chatter, but sometimes there was hot stuff. One night I was working the night shift, and see, we'd have to go every 12 hours. You change your frequency. And it's according to what's called a CEOI. You might have heard of this. It's Communications Electronics Operating Instructions. Now there's a peacetime one, a training time one that you use, and it's kind of localized. And then there's one that they break out if the balloon goes up, and then that's the one you have to go to. So it's possible for 4th Corps or 3rd to be using the exact same frequency without interruption to you because you're so far away. One night I sent out a radio check, and somebody came back and said, basically, what are you talking about? I'm the net control station. I'm like, who is this? You're not supposed to be on this frequency. And we had this little argue back and forth. Well, after the exchange went a little bit, I found out that he was actually at Fort Hood, Texas. And I'm calling bullshit on that. But it was they were using the proper CEOI. It was Fort Hood, Texas. We did confirm it through telephone. And for some reason, I was able to use a directional linear signal and pick up Fort Hood from Frankfurt, Germany. And they were saying, oh, well, it's a skip off the ionosphere. Well, I know what it was now. But at the time, I was sitting there trying to work out how that thing would have been having to zigzag and ping pong and all that shit just to reach its destination. And there's no possible way without being some kind of Rube Goldberg crap that it could have taken place. Anyway, the next day when I showed up, the electronics maintenance had already come in, taken the RT, tagged it. We were called into the commander's office, and they told us that you hit a skip wave. There's something wrong with your radio, and don't talk about it. And I was like, oh, okay. And I'm trying to work out. I'm like, wait a second. You don't understand. We picked up Fort Hood, Texas. How much extra amperage would be needed on that to be able to do such a thing? I would have blew out the power grid,
And so what was that distance if you were looking back?
Oh, I would have to say it's like probably 5,000 miles, something like that. Let's look real quick. Let's see what that distance is.
So obviously to a global
30 some years ago, or 40. Yeah.
Well, that's. And so the problem is if there's curvature, then that signal should not be able to hit.
No.
But if there's not curvature, then that line of that distance is possible in theory, right?
All right, let's see.
Officially, that's about 5,300 miles. Just so you guys know.
That's what I was just. Yeah, 52, 59.
Wow. Those are some good receivers you must have had.
There was something going on there. Something going on. The conditions were just right that we were able to do that.
Yep.
Well, and that's a great example because simply we see too far. That's one of the best flat Earth evidences is the line of sight, the long distance observation, the long distance receiving of those messages, frequencies, etc. So, yeah, that's a perfect example. Who wants to go next?
I can go next if you like.
Sure.
So for me, when I deployed, I started kind of studying the Bible more, and it brought me closer to God. Like basically when you're deployed, especially in Kuwait, you're stuck on base. All you could do is work out, go to church, and not everybody does that obviously, but that's what I did. So it brought me closer to God. And when I got back, just from that trip, I had done a talent contest in Kuwait, and I won it. Doing a rap contest, and I was doing a Christian rap song. And because I used to be a secular rapper, and the whole deployment basically brought me to making that music, and then that music brought me into making podcasts. So and obviously it brought me closer to the Word of God, and that's what brought me to Flat Earth is biblical cosmology. So once I started reading through the scriptures and kind of finding out a lot of different things out of the Bible, so I would think that's what brought me to the flat earth and everything was just biblical cosmology, so definitely a geocentricity in the Bible for sure. As I read through, and it talks about the sun stopping, like in the sun and the moon stopping in two geographical locations. It talks about the sun moving backwards on the sundial. It talks about the earth being fixed and immovable. There's a whole bunch of stuff in the Bible. Obviously, I've already done a biblical cosmology one with you guys before, but I would say that's me getting closer to God, reading the Bible on deployment, not having much to do, so I can kind of focus on that, focus on working out, focus on getting discipline, and it carried on throughout my life, all the way to this day. And I thank God that he had me enlist in the Army, because it structured my whole entire life. And now I use all of that to this day for dieting, for working out, for reading the Bible, being disciplined in my spiritual walk. And so I would just say that for my intro to that.
Yeah, no, that makes sense, because a lot of people handle that time away from friends and family differently. Some people get, super lonely, and if that was kind of giving you peace. But was there any kind of other physical evidence that you could point to? You had explained like helicopters, for example. If the globe is technically a spinning ball, then in theory, the ground should be able to rotate underneath you. But as you learned in your observation being in helicopters and feeling them, the ground's not moving, right?
Yeah. And the thing that I do, like, I listen to people like Sav, I listen to like all these different, flat earthers that debate and basically take the evidence that they bring up scientifically, which Sav does a great job at breaking this stuff down, Vlad as well. And I basically just take whatever scientific proof that's out there and I try to relate it to the Bible. And I want to see if it matches up, because for me, the word of God is truth. Let God be true, every man a liar, like Romans 3:4 says. So what I do is I just take that information and I place it to, with the word of God. But as far as my military career, like I said, the thing that kind of would kind of assist me with believing in flat earth is when I was deployed, this master sergeant in the Air Force that I've known for 20 years sent me an email. And he told me exactly why we were in Afghanistan, why we were in Iraq. He gave me a whole list of things, and he's not a conspiracy theorist at all. And he sent me all the reasons why we're there. Resources, opium. There's just a whole list of stuff. So that just made my mind just start completely thinking in a conspiratorial way. Before I was deployed, I did study 9/11. And then I studied Sandy Hook. 2012 when that happened, but it even pushed me even more into a conspiratorial mind that we've been lied to, and especially us as soldiers, we're out there fighting for, we're thinking we're fighting for freedom, or whatever people want to be going in the military for, but actually we're fighting for resources and things that is very conspiratorial. I'd say that.
All right, thank you. No, that's great. Let's head on over to Master Gunner. And thank you guys for muting if it's noisy in the background, so we don't pick up a hot mic. Master Gunner, tell us about your time in the tank and what you learned and what kind of looking back helps shape your flat earth conviction.
Well, I'll make a quick confession is I don't so much try to prove flat earth. I've just disproven all the mainstream science that doesn't add up.
Well, yeah, walk us through that.
So Coriolis effect is my biggest one, of course, because I do not use Coriolis effect for any firing solutions I've ever used. Nor could I. I cannot shoot a target to the east and go to the north and then recalculate what I'm going to have to adjust for spin or anything. Doesn't happen. Nor do the computers in my vehicles do.
So how would you break that down for someone who believes in the globe?
So, if the Earth is spinning around 1,000 miles at the equator, or whatever, when a gun is out there shooting, if you're shooting east to west, would be no need to do anything. But if you're shooting north or south, you would have to account for the Earth spinning, because your bullet's going and the Earth's going to move out from under it, right? So your bullet will miss, so you'd have to account for that theoretically, as you've all heard say. But we don't. And to that point, just like we go back over to the helicopter, it doesn't move underneath the helicopter, so why would it move underneath a bullet? Or what was it, Mike Tyson's football game? Coriolis effect made the football move.
Oh, you mean Neil deGrasse Tyson?
Neil Tyson.
Yeah.
Right. He's saying that the field goal was affected by the spin of the Earth. And we're like, okay.
So you're saying that war would be a lot tougher if you had to adjust for the Coriolis effect in a tank, in a moving vehicle, and firing would be pretty tough to do.
Yeah, it would be. I mean, right now we already account for, the temperature of the gun, the temperature of the ammunition, outside air temperature, barometric pressure. Never a Coriolis effect.
Yeah.
Never have done it.
And that was actually my first introduction to this. Was a Navy SEAL relative of mine was like, look, the Earth is not spinning. And so, you know, when you're a Navy SEAL, you kind of have to learn some things about how this Earth functions, right? And as the relative, I was like, all right, I guess I have to pay attention to this, even though I was completely pissed off. And I'm like, what do you mean the Earth isn't spinning and we're not in space? And so, but it was his credibility of, you know, his time in service and obviously all the training that you guys go through just to be military personnel. For me, it gives you a lot of weight to your testimony here. And so these things help other people who still maybe can't piece it together, like I said, and believe in this globe and believe in the mainstream science. But like you're saying, Master Gunner, you're breaking down what we've been taught rather than necessarily trying to prove flat Earth. It's more of like disproving the globe model. Is that correct?
You know, well, I'm not going to say disprove the globe model. So I've got kids. They went through school. I got grandkids now and everything else. My whole thing when I got into it was we're taught certain things. Gravity's caused by mass, blah, 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 Coriolis effect, all this great stuff that we're taught.
Right.
But they're teaching my kids that, and it's wrong. So we always ask the question, well, why is that? Well, they don't have an answer. Now we know they don't know what causes gravity. Great. That's fine. There's no Coriolis effect. You always hear those stories. Oh, the sniper had to take in Coriolis. No, he freaking didn't. You know what kind of math calculations you would have to add to all that? There's no way.
Well, because you would have to factor in curvature as well as rotation.
Not really have to factor in curvature, honestly.
So the distance of the artillery wouldn't go far enough where it wouldn't be affected, you're saying?
Well, it's a ballistic solution. They go up, they come down. So whether it's down slope of the hill or not is irrelevant. But you don't have to stress on that. You just have to stress on like Coriolis effect. No. Because they don't account. You can't. If you account for Coriolis effect for a bullet, then why don't we account for it for a helicopter or Concorde? I think me and Mark had a conversation a couple of years ago about the speed of artillery rounds and Concordes and bullets. Yeah. When does the Coriolis effect suddenly come into effect and not?
Yeah.
Why does it not affect a helicopter? But it's going to affect a bullet, you say, or a football? They contradict.
Yeah.
All I want is the exact truth answer. And if you don't know, say you don't freaking know. Stop making shit up.
Yep.
That's where we're going. You know.
Okay. Let's head over to Vlad and see what comes to mind for him that he wants to share. I know when we interviewed him, he talked about the periscope, being on the submarine, seeing too far. So maybe that he can kind of go over that as well as whatever else you want to share with us.
Yeah, man. I'll tell you. Could you guys hear me?
Yep.
Fantastic. So I definitely say seeing way too far. You don't think about it. First, on a surface ship, you could be up in the dang superstructure in control and just looking outside, and they have these gigantic binoculars, right? And we call them big eyes and stuff. So you could see far out in the distance, and you see ships at miles upon miles. How many miles? I couldn't even tell you. But you see ships that you're not even supposed to see if this thing is curving, and you see the whole ship. And you can see these things for miles. Now, this is just on the surface, right? Underwater wise, on a sub, when you're at periscope depth, these periscopes are extremely powerful. I can't, because the periscope serves as basically, when you're on mission, it serves as your everything, your eyes, your ears, all sorts of stuff, right? And the amount of distance that you can cover with that thing is like now that I think back on it, the technology is crazy. So I'd be able to see ships at around 8 miles. That's how many I remember seeing. Now I asked a buddy of mine, and he was in. I only did subs for like around 8 years or so, right? And he did submarine duty for 27 years, 27 or 23, or one of the two. Either way, he was out there, and he got to see these things at around 13 miles. And yet, and I mean, you got to think the periscope's not out the water that much, maybe a couple of feet at most, depending on what you're doing, a couple of feet, if that much. And you could cover that much distance. Now, there's that. I was out on one mission flying. We were somewhere in the Gulf of Oman, and we could hear a signal from there flying. over to Cyprus, Turkey. Cyprus next to Turkey, outside of Turkey, excuse me, outside of Israel and the Eastern Med. So, could you hold one, please?
Vlad is driving somewhere.
Got to take time to road rage.
That's all right.
You stupid so and so.
No, I think he was. Oh, go ahead.
Right. I apologize for that. So you could see this signal all the way out at Cyprus, and I couldn't even believe it. I was like, Cyprus where? I was like, not. There's no damn way. Not even possible. I mean, I don't know if it covered as much distance as what Sov got, but one thing we need to take into account is that I was up high too. I was up at around, nearly 30,000 feet, and I could cover that much distance. You know what I'm saying? So you don't think about these things when you're operating the gear. You don't think about it at all. But what you do is you kind of expect to see these things. Does that make any sense? Like when you see them, you're like, okay, well, this is a good receiver, or this is a good whatever it is, right? But you kind of expect to see them. You're like, okay, that makes sense because of. You don't ever, nobody, and this is why I say everybody in the military that does any of these technical jobs, they're flat earthers. They don't even know it. Because a lot of times you expect to see it, but it's when you don't expect to see it, that's where it gets trippy. That's where it messes you up. And then when you start hearing the earth is flat, you're like, no, it's not. And then the reality starts to set in. You're like, well, how was I able to see? That's when those things that aren't supposed to make sense start making sense if you include the truth with them. And that was my problem. Was at first I didn't want to include the truth of what it was I was seeing. I was like, well, it could be this, it could be that. And it was basically one of my proteges. I was mentoring somebody, and then he came to me and he had to inform me that the earth was flat. And I said, ain't no way in hell, bro. And this is while I was enlisted, of course. I was like, ain't no way in hell. I said, it's not, it doesn't work. And then I was talking about my service, right? And there were things that we got to go out and do as field reps, and I got to see some stuff. And then I was basically in that 6 month corner where I didn't want to come out and I didn't want to admit to anybody that I was a flat earther. I was scared. But when it finally came out that I was, and it came out in a way in which I was already a chief. And people were like, oh, Chief is the one, he's a flat earther. Chief doesn't want to get the shot. You know what I'm saying? At that point, it was like the cat's out the bag. Yeah, like they got it all. I was just, that was basically the end of my career. And I think it came at a good time, strictly because I was like, okay, if I'm going to say I'm a flat earth person, like that's it. Like there's no more looking back. Everything's going to be different. And, it was, because I'll tell you what, like as soon as I realized the earth was flat, my drive in the military kind of decreased. My hunger, and I was a GI Joe, I was all that. My hunger left immediately because I was like, we've been lied to about everything.
Yeah, man.
And it's deep for me. Like I take it to heart because I was like, damn, like they lied to me about everything. And like I didn't have that drive no more. I didn't want to do it I just didn't want to do it no more. It's not saying that I wanted to harm myself, but yeah, man, much of the love that I had for the mission and everything else, just starting to realize that everything, it's all a lie. Like I just didn't have it no more, man. It's a weird feeling, but yeah, at that point I didn't want to play no more. So it was like flat earth and that's it.
And I've heard that before from former military about just being jaded after realizing that maybe what they signed up for wasn't exactly what they thought. But anything, I want to open up just kind of the group discussion at this point. Anything come to mind based off the 4 testimonies that we've heard? Of just anyone want to add to anything?
Did Sabi have your hand up?
No.
I thought you put your
Okay,
hand
let me
up,
go to
brother.
Mark then really quick. Mark, how would you explain this to a globe friend who's going, okay, well, I trust the mainstream science on the Coriolis and the curvature. So based on what they've shared, how would you break this down for someone?
Okay. First off, for the chat room, we are skipping the normal break. You know, we only have one break, but since we have so many guests, I don't want to waste time with the intro and outro and all that. So I want to give these guys as much content as we can. And if we have to run a little over, but we don't want to go too far over because we have Strange Lounge after this, just so you guys know. As far as breaking this down for the general public, think of it this way. And there's a playlist on my channel with a lot of military subject matter experts, including Master Gunner Brian Burton, which goes into every firing solution. I don't care what you see on CNN, like Brian mentioned. I don't care when you talk about snipers. It's like, oh, they fired so far, they had to take into account the curvature and the spin of the earth. It's like, no, they did not. Every military person that I have talked to, I don't care if you're firing tanks or howitzers or missiles or torpedoes, or take your pick. Everyone has heard about working in the spin of the earth. Remember the spin of the earth, which is east to west, or the curvature of the earth. They've heard of it, but they never work it into their firing solutions. Meaning, if a sniper supposedly takes in the spin of the earth when they're firing a mile, why doesn't a guy that's firing a cannon at 20 miles or a tank at 10 miles or a missile at 30 miles or whatever, classified versus unclassified, doesn't really make any difference. Nobody works it into the firing solution. Oh, they may even have a book to show you, oh, this may how you do it. I've never heard of someone say, oh yeah, we follow that to the letter. It's like, no, we know it's in the book. We don't take it into account. The Earth's spin, and the curvature is one thing, but the Earth's spin especially messes up the trajectory of anything you are sending downrange. It would absolutely screw it up all day long, and nobody takes it into account. Our military services do not do it. In fact, it's funny, we've had Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, all sorts of people, on Strange World over the years. I have yet to find someone to email me to counter it, to come at us and say, oh, no, you're wrong. Here's where we absolutely did it. Again, we were so lucky to have, Brian remembers this, Sean McCrary, the Sparrow missile system instructor. He trained people on the Sparrow missile system. Absolutely, verified himself, doxed himself with a vid of him going out to his ship, the Iwo Jima, with him in the training room, which I didn't even know those things existed. I thought we were going to have issues with that, to where even the Department of Defense was pinging our show behind the scenes just mercilessly because they thought he was going to screw things up. And give away trade secrets, and he didn't. But the fact that he came on almost right away, he was the guy that really opened up the floodgates and said, we are firing Sparrow missile systems, and we never take into account the Coriolis effect or the curvature of the Earth or anything like that. Never ever do it. And then unsolicited, all these other military guys started coming forward to where now it's just commonplace. Hopefully that helps you, DJ. I know I was talking pretty fast.
No, it definitely helps. I mean, because my goal for tonight is this, if I were to show this to some of my friends who may or may not be watching that are trying to piece together what this information is, how does flat Earth work? I think this is a great perspective, and a military lens is super powerful, as I've said. So I kind of want to
let me sorry, real quick, DJ, you just made me think of something real quick for your friends that are out there. I'll make it even easier for them. I won't even give a 3-dimensional version. I'll give them the 2-dimensional, and that is firing a gun standing in the middle of a merry-go-round that's spinning is way easier than firing a gun standing on the edge of a merry-go-round. And I'm not just saying because it's pulling you off and trying to throw you off. It would screw up your aim. Or hell, real quick, if you've ever been in a amusement park ride, I hate them. If you've ever been on those ones that spin you round and round, every once in a while you'll find a video of people that are trying to pass a ball to each other on the inside of one of those spinning amusement park rides. It's incredibly tough to do. And that is a very short distance, and you're not spinning that fast. So take that into account. Anytime you're throwing something, if you're throwing it from a stationary object, fine. Try throwing it from a moving object that's spinning. Tough to do.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Well,
sorry, dude.
even think about this, man. You got the Earth is rotating, right?
Yeah.
And now it's east to west. If you go, you're firing northeast.
Right.
Okay. Now you just change 1 or 2 degrees south or north from that direction right there, throws all your math off. Because I want you to picture these varying speeds as bands.
Yeah.
Right. And they're different. They're different. They're getting slower as you go north. They're getting faster as you go south. Right. So you're going to be firing diagonally across these lines.
Yeah.
and then you have to adjust your fire a little bit, and now everything's totally thrown off because now all your variables have changed completely.
Yeah, trying to call in a fire mission where you lay down the fire like you're very close to the infantry. Good luck.
Right.
Good luck on any sort of spinning situation. Vietnam, that's a whole different story if you're doing that.
Right. That's why they'll say, they'll give them the coordinates and they say fire for effect.
There you go.
And then they'll call in adjustments.
Yeah.
That's how they're getting any adjustments. It's not through Coriolis or anything like that.
Nope.
It's through the observation on the ground or from even a distant observer.
Yep. Sorry, go ahead, DJ.
Well, so based on that, are there other evidences that come to mind that you've seen that could play into tonight's discussion of other military? Maybe it wasn't your first hand, but you've talked to people or you've seen videos or other.
Yeah. Oh, totally. Yo, we don't have globes inside of our spaces where we in operation spaces. We do not have globes. Everything is a chart. And if there is any chart, the Urbano Monte map chart would not Urbano Monte. Good Lord, where's my mind? But the Gleason's map, that's the military map. That is the 24-hour clock that we go by. Like it's not up for debate. We go by that. That is our clock.
Yeah.
It's so simple. And like you don't even think about it. Nobody even thinks about these things. But yeah, like every military person, especially the technical ones, they're flat earthers, and they don't even know it.
So explain that a little bit further. Just kind of, I know it's going to be a review for a lot of people, but the Gleason's map and why does the military use it, and how is that more accurate than a globe?
And look, why it is, I couldn't tell you. It just is. That's the best I could give you. And we don't have any globes because nobody's ever going to use them to do any measurements, to do any charting, nothing like that. But we have a chart machine. We have charting rooms. We have operation rooms, and you will not find a globe anywhere in there. Nowhere. And I mean, but in every operations room, you have a clock. You have a big clock, a big 24-hour clock. And then it'll show you like the different time zones and everything else, like the actual countries. They split it that way. Nothing is, they really don't go by I'm not saying that they strictly don't, but they really don't go by the, what's his name? Mercator map, really.
No,
that 24-hour clock map is, that's it right there. I mean, I don't know if that's, any military person should be able to tell you that. And I mean, the thing is military people, we're almost like a dime a dozen. So based off of their experience, they could tell you about that clock for the most part. They're not going to find a globe anywhere.
Yeah, but I'll say this. A clock is just a man-made thing.
Well, I have a clock in my front room, and I've forced people that come over and stuff. There it is right there. You figure it out. It's a 24-hour clock. And it's imposed. The hands are imposed over a azimuthal equidistant map, and I've got it set so that wherever that our hand is at, that's where the sun is at over the Earth along that line. That's what degree over the Earth it's at right there, and it's a 24-hour clock, and it does go along with the cycle of our sun. So yeah, the movement is what we gauge time by, but time really is only a concept. Like a lot of animals don't have the concept of time like humans do. Dogs, whether you're gone just long enough to go get the mail or whether you went on a whole shopping spree, to them, they just know you were gone and now you're not. They don't really pay attention to how long that kind of thing is. We conceive of time, and it's a way to sort out everything in a linear fashion. But in reality, the only thing that actually exists is the perpetual now. Because the past is in your recollection. The future is in your imagination. The only thing that is real is actual now. And we use this concept of past and future to kind of sort out and experience this realm in a linear fashion.
Which I think what you got to remember is that actually all time is a measurement of movement. That's all time is. How we assign that measurement as far as Arizona time, East Coast time, that's just up to us. All time is a measurement of movement, in this case, a measurement of the sun. We set our things.
Speaking of the sun, I'm actually going to do a observation this year. I'm going to go in June 21st. I'm going to go up to Edmonton, Canada, which is 53 degrees north, and I'm going to film the sun from sunrise to sunset. And then I'm going to go down to 53 degrees south where Punta Arenas is at, because I want to film it from sunrise to sunset. And I want to see what the actual movement of the sun is, because the information that we got from the final experiment, a lot of people are disregarding that information. So I want to see what it actually does look like at Punta Arenas, So I'm going to film it at 53 degrees north, 53 degrees south, right? This is going to be June 21st and December 21st. I'm paying for it myself. No one's paying for it. It's all me. And I'm going to film the sun because I want to see what's going on, because the claim is in the globe is that it's going to be the exact same sunset, sunrise, but it's going to be reversed. All right. So that's a claim. So this is a way you can either prove that claim or not prove that claim, So it's something I'm going to do. Obviously, it's not going to prove whether it's flat or whether it's round, but it's going to prove what the sun is doing. And if the sun is moving in the opposite direction in the south, like they said, then that's something I got to look at. But it's something I'm going to do this year. I think it's important to do just to do some observations, and I'm going to try to do some land observations as well, and try to obviously with lasers or whatever, just kind of do some experiments, because I think that we need to get out there and start doing some things right now, to kind of push this thing forward, or find out what's going on with everything, if that makes sense.
That sounds great. We'll definitely want to keep us in the loop on that. We can
sure
share your journey, and definitely we'll have you back on to kind of report your findings and to share the footage. Does anyone have anything else coming to mind? I kind of open it up back to the panel to kind of steer where you think this should go next, or what's interesting.
Well, on that topic, just kind of a side note, I think it's interesting that whole delineation of the sun's movement was broken down into a sexagesimal system, 6.
So what does that mean?
Well, what I'm saying is that perhaps those that came up with that system of time and timekeeping may have been 6-fingered people. Why not use units of 5 like we would normally use? But we find a lot of these ancient measurements and things that we still use today are based on a sexagesimal type system, a unit of 6 and 12.
Ooh, that's creepy and interesting for sure.
That's a good point, man, because that's a good point, because if they were going to count on anything, they'd be counting on their digits, huh?
Well, that's where Flat Earth gets really interesting for me, because you can talk about all kinds of controversial, crazy sounding conspiracies from there. But for tonight's focus, we're going to try to kind of keep it more towards military observations and experiments that you guys have done or not, or other kind of pieces of evidence that you think are important for, if, again, our viewer on this is someone who maybe has never thought about this lens.
I know we don't want to get off subject, but just to add to that, Sovereign Soul, in 2 Samuel 21, it says, "Yet again there was a war in Gath, where there was a man great stature who had 6 fingers on each hand and 6 toes on each foot, 24 in number, and he also was born to the giant. So he defied Israel. Jonathan, the son of Shimei, David's brother, killed him." So just to add to that, just real quick, just to throw a Bible verse out there.
Well, there's enough evidence to show. I liked how DJ put that, was, that we get into the realm of the what would sound crazy, but what we're finding out more and more, and now the general public is finding out, that which sounded ludicrous and preposterous is actually facts, and the things that they've given us as facts are what's actually ludicrous.
Well, hey, we can go there. I'm happy to talk about that.
That's what I'm saying.
Giant bones and all sorts.
Yeah, I just wanted to add to that,
Well, Flat Earth is and I often say this, it's the Jenga tile that pulls down the whole tower of deceit. Because once you unravel that and you go, holy crap, the first thing that comes to mind is, what else have they lied to me about?
Right.
And you start finding out, you go, oh my God, everything.
And that is a huge can of worms, and it's definitely kept me investigating, and so grateful because I've been very open about this has been a spiritual journey for me as well. And so all that kind of ties together. I want to kind of see if Master Gunner had anything on his mind from this so far. We haven't heard from you in a minute.
No, well, on this journey, the biggest thing I find out is pick a target. So a lot of people, when they get into this, they start researching all the moon, the sun, the curvature, all this stuff. It's overwhelming. I would suggest to people, pick a target, pick a subject. Coriolis. Go through it all, figure it all out. Get your answers on that. And then when you move to the next subject, do the same thing. Because what I have found, mainstream science has an explanation for everything. And they do. They've got a logical explanation for everything. Until you put all those pieces together and they start contradicting each other. Yep, you got to do that's why the football went to the left court. Well, then why doesn't the helicopter move? Well, that's when everything starts to fall apart.
Velcro air.
But I highly recommend when you decide people start, shooting down a typical mainstream science thing, make sure you go through it fully.
Well, it's like this. If you, one of the main targets that's right in front of your face is one that you glossed over and they passed it on you before you had any critical thinking abilities or very limited critical thinking abilities, right? And those two things are the behavior of water and the behavior of gases. We know without it's axiomatic that a specific volume of gas requires full physical containment.
So explain that, because of the differences in pressure, or
no, it doesn't matter whether you have a balloon full of gas or anything else, or a mixture of gases. You cannot amass any specific volume of gases without full physical containment. That's all there is to it. Okay, so first and foremost, that means that this is a closed system. It has to be a closed system.
So
you know what?
In order to exist, the behavior of water, people can look out and say, "Look, I see that windmill looks like it's obstructed from the bottom up. That must mean the Earth is curved." No, logic would kick in, and you'd say that's silly because water doesn't behave that way ever. Okay, so this must be some optical phenomenon that I'm experiencing, or maybe the Earth's a cylinder. If no one had ever told anyone, if no one had ever told you that the Earth was a globe, because you never discovered that on your own. You weren't bebopping along and just go, "Hey, I've been watching that sunset and that makes me think I must be on a ball." Nobody would ever even go toward that direction of thinking. So it's something that has to be taught to you, told to you, and taught to you by a trusted source, or a source that you perceive to be trusted. It's all about a perception deception.
I will say
we gloss right over that. Don't even go to it. And we start going, no, the spin and the curve and all this other nonsense. And look at the stars and this, that, and the other. Hold up. Right off at the basics. Your globe is physically and scientifically impossible. That's all. If you want to claim gravity, well, show me the experiment that verifies that gas behavior is affected by gravity in any way, shape, or form.
Right, and I've heard Mark explain that many a time.
And that goes with the Bible as well. Like he said, it has to be a physical container. So this is Genesis 1 verse 6. And then God said, "Let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters let it divide the waters from the waters. Thus God made the firmament and divided the waters from which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament." And it was so. So that's the type of thing, like when you hear people talk about scientific explanations, for flat Earth, then you go back to the Bible to confirm it. That's what I do. Not everybody, because not everybody's a Christian, or believes the Bible, but that's just something that I try to do. And that's kind of what I do. That's my whole specialty is kind of doing that. When people make a claim, can I go to the Bible, which I know that God created the heavens and the earth, and can I confirm it? And when science comes out and tells us certain things, as I've talked about on the show many times, it's completely inverted compared to what the Bible says. The days that the stars were created, the sun was created, the moon was created. They say that the stars came first, then the sun, then the earth, and then the Bible's saying that, the sun, moon, and stars are made on the same day, which is day 4, and the earth came first, so we got to compare these things, and we're in a spiritual battle, as Ephesians 6:12 says. We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but principalities of evil. And also in the Geneva Bible, it says worldly governors. Okay, so not just, and the principalities are actually in heavenly places, right? So that is, heavenly places means they're not just on earth, they're actually in heavenly places, which is where the moon, sun, and the stars are located, right? So there's things going on where we got to understand that we have to look at everything from a spiritual perspective as well. If you're not Christian, I understand you not thinking that way, but if you are Christian, you need to think that way, that we're in a spiritual battle, and we're not just wrestling against, me against this guy, or Sav against this person, or Master Gunner against this person. We've all been to war and been in the military, but the real battle is the spiritual battle that we deal with on a day-to-day basis.
Well, the governments and principalities that you speak of all belong to the Shaitan, to Satan. And this is exemplified further. If they didn't belong to him, how could he have tempted Jesus with them?
With the empires,
offered them to him. How can you give away something that's not yours in the first place?
Right.
Well,
the ancient cosmology is so fascinating. I agree that definitely using that lens helps, because it is weird how everything is inverted from what these ancient texts say. So that was a big red flag for me of when I started, because we are taught the globe model in 2nd grade, basically, maybe even younger for some of us, and you're kind of get obsessed with the planets and space, and then of course all the indoctrination kicks in, and you don't really get to question it as you grow up. So that's all a huge piece of this puzzle, right? I wanted to get back.
We'll just take a look at what the leaders were, and just in recent days, it's being exposed what the leaders of these principalities, the minions of these principalities, have been engaged in. And it should tell you everything you need to know right there. It should tell you everything that you need to know. Who's running this show, and that it is it's on earth as it is in heaven. There is a spiritual war going on, and it's not left versus right and that nonsense like they keep trying to throw it back to. It is literally good versus evil,
and I'll add to that,
unspeakable evil.
Yes, and I'll add to that too. And even in this verse in Ephesians 6:12, it doesn't just say like we don't wrestle against flesh and blood, we wrestle against demons. What it says against principalities, against powers, against the rulers and darkness of this age, against spiritual hosts of wickedness in heavenly places. And these spiritual hosts, actually in the Bible, it talks about 70 nations were divided, and there's spiritual host above each nation, right? So if you want to worship another god, then God will give you a fallen angel over that nation. So that's what's happening, obviously, with these different nations today. They're not ruled by, under Christianity. It's ruled under, I believe, principalities of evil that are over these countries making these decisions. And we don't know how high up it goes, or the elite, if they're dealing with these principalities and finding out technology, information, trading, blood sacrifices for it. That's even deeper, but I'm just saying that we got to understand, we always talk about like we're wrestling against demons, but there's principalities of evil, spiritual hosts of wickedness in heavenly places. So there's spiritual battles going on above us and around us at all times. And we're just sitting here not knowing what's happening. So even though God, you might not feel like God is in your life, but God is actually fighting for you at every moment of your life, because you could be having something bad that's trying to happen to you, and God could be intervening on a spiritual level that you don't understand because you can't see it. Plus, you're not accepting the fact that you are in a spiritual battle, and we're not wrestling against flesh and blood. So what they want to do is they want to get us against men, and they want to, like it's like ants. They want to shake the ants so that we all go against each other. But really, it's
war is another blood sacrifice.
Of course,
both sides willingly participating in this, while the elites revel in its destruction of human beings, and that's part of it too. We were part of that. We were part of that, and we got lured into that through this sense of patriotism and that, and it really, you got to be careful, because that's being of the world and not in the world. And, I can understand defending your country, but I realized real quick that what I was actually doing, how the hell was I defending the United States from Frankfurt, Germany? Right? one of the banking capitals of the world, right? It's what the hell? So here I am, like there, I could go right to the border and I could see East German soldiers. There they were, right there. And if somebody just got a wild hair for one reason or another, boom, I have to now, the guy that's smiling at me on the other side of that wall, I got to shoot him. It's because he's on the other side of a fence.
And this is deep. And the military, this is all goes along with the military too, DJ Curious, So the craziest thing is like I flew in a C-5 to Kuwait, and all the guns and everything we had to kind of unload, and when you land, you're just like, it's like a whole different world there, It's like I was in the winter, so it was actually not hot until until the summer. And as Master Gunner probably knows, but when you get off the plane, you're basically in line, and there's one line to go to Kuwait, which is going to be on a base. We're 40 miles away from the actual war, and there's another line that some of my squad is going into, where they're going into the line to go to Iraq. And what they do with me is I have my weapon, and then I have to hand my weapon to them, and I have to go into Kuwait with no weapon. And then these guys are actually getting weapons and loading up ammo, and they're getting ready for war, So like Sovereign Soul was saying, and Master Gunner's obviously been through this as well when he was in Iraq. It's like a real sensation when you get in that line, and you're like, so now I'm going to Kuwait, and then these guys are loading up ammo, ready to go. So it's really it's just really surreal when you actually land and you're there, and Master Gunner probably has a little more experience with that, because he said he was in Iraq for so long, but it really is,
Someone.
I don't know. So,
who said this quote, Mark? You're a brain nerd, kind of. You know all these things.
Brain nerd.
I am too. All
Big
right.
brain, yeah, he is.
What if they threw a war and nobody showed up?
Oh, well, then you're getting into. All right, let me break down a couple things really quick. For those of you who don't know about current events, the Ukraine war is a proxy war. If you hadn't heard that already, we are at war with Russia, but we're not at war with Russia, because until politics are a funny thing and countries are a funny thing, until you declare war, you're not officially at war.
Right.
You can have a Cold War and then you can have proxy wars. So, but yeah, you got a good point. Until we put it in the media, I found that fascinating about how media dictates the state of where no one's panicking right now, because technically the general public thinks we're not in a war. Ukraine is happening, but that's not really us. Yeah, it is. Sure it is. We're just not sending public boots on the ground. Type of thing. But yeah, what would happen if war happened and media wasn't covering it? Is it still a war? No, it's not. It's not a war. So we're in this strange place, kind of like Venezuela, that thing that happened just a few weeks ago, right? We took the Venezuelan oil fields and the president of Venezuela and his wife.
What the hell is that?
Yeah, it's like, okay, we just did that.
Well, that's the first time we've done it.
Well, yeah, there you go.
Well, stealing those oil tankers was an act of piracy.
Yeah.
Okay. And we're looking at it like, well, those evil, this, that, and the other, because of however the media tries to paint it, or however they're drug traffickers. Wait a minute. Hold on a second. You mean to tell me these people are landing ashore and they're responsible for the deaths of millions of people? What are they doing? They going around and forcing people to take drugs? Are they forcing people to inject drugs? Is that what's going on? No, it's not. And once they get into American waters, then the Coast Guard can stop the ship or the boat, right? You don't have to blow it out of Venezuelan waters. What the hell is that? And then go back and double tap it.
The rules. Sorry, not to quote too many movies, but it's not just for the general public. We get away with what we can get away with. And that applies to just about every aspect of our world. And when it comes to war, it's like, well, there are tankers out there. We took them, but there aren't any witnesses. It's not like there's any yachts filming what's going on. And if you control the images and the videos that are coming out of whatever you're doing, well, then you control the narrative.
Mm-hmm.
So again, I love this country. God bless America and everything. America 250. Oh yeah, I'm all about that. Trust me when I say that. You couldn't ask for a bigger patriot, but I'm also realistic for what America is. We're not exactly a white hat a shining city on a hill. We are still, we do what needs to be done for the empire. And as much you guys watch Star Wars, it's like, look, I'm sorry, I'm one of those guys that rooted for the empire because I know what they represent. Not to say that the national anthem should be replaced with the marching theme from Star Wars.
It almost seems like when you see how the war happened, because I believe we're the military branch, I believe, for the higher powers, right? That's obvious, and it's almost like they said, you know what, United States, we're going to give you a little break. We want the military industrial complex to still be gaining money. So now Russia, now it's time for you to invade Ukraine. That's what it seems like, so you guys can have a little break, of generating all this money, and then we're just gonna have Russia and Ukraine now going at each other, So it's crazy.
I mean, we've figured out, if you guys are looking for any fun documentary, I shouldn't say fun, that's not true. It's fun for me, but might not be fun for you. There's a wonderful documentary from at least 15 years ago called Why We Fight. And Eisenhower was kind of the leading edge of this, which was he inadvertently, helped create the Frankenstein monster, which is the military industrial complex. If you don't know what that is, it's the merging, it's the perfect trinity of political power, industrial sector that builds the weapons, and the military that uses the weapons. And what we did was, I know we're getting a little off topic here, but
it's military though, so
it circles back to the military, which is the America became very good. We figured out the formula for making war profitable. We became really, really good at it. And there was a wonderful quote in there from one of our military advisors, a long time, like career military advisor. And he goes, look, the current return on investment right now in any major conflict is like 25-30%. He goes, if you can generate that sort of return on investment for war, you're going to see a lot more of it, because you're just looking to make up conflicts so that we can go in and because again, we've got it down. I mean, during the Gulf, Brian knows this, the corporate contractors, they were the ones that were making the big money.
Halliburton. Halliburton, which Dick Cheney was a vice president of Halliburton, so he just took all his contracts.
No relation to me.
There you go.
And the crazy thing is that so if you talk to a private contractor out there, they're making $150,000 a year while we were making maybe 60 as a sergeant in the United States Army. So those private contractors were bringing in bank and tax-free money as well.
Yep.
So like you said, every bullet that gets fired, every missile that gets fired, every drone, everything is making money for the military industrial complex.
Yep. Yeah. So America, love her. I will celebrate to no end this year, but just remember who we are. I know we like to say it. I think the luster is finally worn off. 2026, I think most people are not under the illusion anymore that it's like, oh, America, we can do no wrong. It's not 1963 anymore.
I'm going to say this, okay? Yeah. America is a bully. We are a bully.
Oh, how dare you? How dare you,
no,
sir?
We are. I'm glad we are, because I'd rather us be the bully than somebody else. Honestly.
There you go.
Well, I don't, because look.
What, you don't think we're the bully?
No, I mean, I don't like being the bully. I don't like that.
Okay.
I don't like being the bully. I don't like that at all. I've always been a champion for the underdog anyway. But the problem is that's our diplomacy. Do as we wish, or we'll destroy you, or regime change you, or whatever the heck else.
Right.
And it's ludicrous. It's ludicrous. I think I look at the United States through the lens of other places.
Right.
And one of the things I see is that from that standpoint, we're more like Darth Vader in the Empire. We think everybody cheers us on, yay, Team America. They go, oh shit, the Americans are here. God, look out. We're all done.
Yeah, they sold it to us as kids that we're the world police, and it's like,
That's what we are.
We are.
When I was in Germany, I ran across somebody had put the most interesting graffiti across the street from my concern and painted it on a wall. And I thought, wow, that's very polite, but to the point. It said, "Dear Americans, we love you as men, but we hate you as soldiers. Go home." And I thought about that. I was like, well, yeah, I can understand that. What if the Germans had troops all over in my country right now?
Yeah.
I mean,
like they did in the 40s.
look,
and even going back, you look at it from the other lens. We look at Eisenhower. He was a great general, and he was the president of the United States. He was a monster. Look what he did he took the POWs of the Germans. They weren't POWs. He classified them as disarmed combatants. And then he didn't have to abide by the Geneva Code. And he kept them in open air prisons with nowhere to go to the bathroom, no food. A bunch of them starved to death. They died from exposure and shit. And they didn't care. They did not care one bit.
The end of the war was tricky. Let's put it that way. There was not a lot of evil, or not a lot of good decisions that were made. Sometimes I think they just had to. But to your point, by the way, look, the Star Wars reference. As much as I like rooting for the underdog too, look, it's a better story. God, let's face it, your safer money's with the Empire. You know, your general people, it's like, hey, the Empire's kept me employed for a long time. Or
I look at that like selling yourself out, selling your soul. But you're selling your soul for worldly shit.
But if you don't, again, I'm just using the Star Wars universe, not ours, which is, if you didn't know about the rebels were just this little rumor that you heard in like a backwater bar every once in a while. The Empire's, they didn't talk about that during they didn't really cover any of the marketing stuff that the Empire had. Again, equating it to us, which was the Empire probably had a really good marketing program. You just never saw it, which was they probably spun. It's like, we're doing it for your security. We're going to keep you safe. We're going to. Don't worry about that planet.
Yeah, that's very Starship Troopers. Remember, we were talking about that last week. Like the marketing campaign.
Yeah.
Do you want to know more?
Service guarantees citizenship. Yeah.
Well, shout out to Level Playing Poem. Sorry, she was saying hi to me and Sav. I was just gonna shout out real quick. Sorry.
Oh, you know what? Let's do that really quick, because I know we didn't take an official break, but I want to mention some of the people in chat. Let me just fire off a few. International Truth Expo. I know who that is. Nathan Reed out of Canada. Dionysus, what? Seven Hills Submerged, is that your thing now? Flat Sandra, I still don't know who you are. Whale Oil Befooked B892, okay. The Lowry Video Music, Alex Lowry, I don't know him. That's not true. He does our ending credit song. Chris W N4Y Commercial Sound and Video 2890. The Truthinator. Ooh, I like that. Level Playing Poem. Yeah, I'm sure he's got some stuff. Ravenlocks. Oh, Ravenlocks. I see what you did there. Chris WN4Y. I don't recognize that. Are you guys new? Who are you, these people? Tony Blair. Oh, yeah, that's probably a little dicey, especially what's going on. Donald Piasek and so on. Peter WFE. Also cool. If you guys can work Flat Earth in your names, that'd be awesome. Jay Northrup, 3650. Half Tater, of course, one of our moderators. If you guys are wondering what the blue wrenches are for. I don't know if anyone's been banned recently. Jack Frost. Hey, I know that guy. Jack Frost.
What's up?
I totally know him. He's one of the longtime friends of the show. Angel of Elevation 8759. You know why? I don't recognize people? Because these people came in with the guests. That's why these people. You guys are probably like, I know who these guys are. Yeah, very, very cool. True Earth Whisperer. Also cool, and so on and so on. So thank you guys for everybody for showing up to the show.
And awesome. Dionysus, I think Dionysus was asking about the sundial going backwards. It's Isaiah 38, 7-8. I saw you in the chat asking about that. It talks about, behold, I will bring the shadow on the sundial, which has gone down with the sun on the sundial of Ahaz, 10 degrees backwards. So the king was asking if, instead of going forward, which he believes God could do easily, I want the sun to actually go backwards. And there's a sundial, it was like steps. And I don't know exactly what it looked like, but I just wanted to mention that the sun moved backwards 10 degrees. So that's what that verse is. It's Isaiah 38, 7-8, if you want to check that out.
Yeah. And again, if we are living in a giant planetarium, you can make the sun do anything you want. You can make a smiley face in the sky. If it was a planetarium, it wouldn't be tough to do. So as far as, yes, God doing what God wanted to do with the sky, you bet. We can do that to a limited extent now with our tech, on a much, much smaller scale. And as you know, the creator a little bit above us. Yeah. In his abilities.
Well, it makes me think of Joe Hamby, where he was kind of tying into what Saab was saying, and Josh, he was like, there to be gas pressure, you have to have a container. For there to be water, you need a basin, and for light needs a container. So everything kind of points to it on a scientific level that this realm we live in might be far more intricate than we're giving it credit for or even understand, but it still doesn't mean that we're defaulting back to a heliocentric model. Instead, everything points towards an enclosed system, which is pretty mind-blowing for someone who's just kind of trying to understand what does flat Earth even really mean. And having, again, kind of as we come down home stretch here, guys, is there anything else that you think we should touch on based on like kind of a military
Absolutely.
lens?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
How about you spoke about the Earth being flat? Just that, man. Where's the curve? Like, we need that curve. If there's anything that we need, we're talking about the sky, we're talking about this, we're talking about that. What we need is that curve. Like, if you take a big giant step back with a quote unquote satellite and you look at the Earth, it's curving, correct? Or that's what their claim is, right? Well, if it could curve that way, they could they can measure that. You know what? You could be on top of this joker and you should be able to measure it the same way. The same way we can measure the thickness of a piece of paper, right, is the same way you can get big with it, and you should be able to measure some kind of curvature. Nobody's done it yet. So I think us going too far into the weeds with everything, we ain't even got to do all that. All they need to do is give us this curve. And then once we see the curve, then we need a little bit more curve, but we need curvature. I'm going to land my plane with that.
Hey, we're getting some questions from the chat. If you guys, for the panel.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Let's see here.
If you have questions for any of our guests, please go into chat and type in whatever you want, but make it sort of brief and make it to where we can understand it.
Yeah, from the Truthinator, he says, here's a question about flat Earth. Is it possible for a flat Earth geocentric model to spin east to west? Anyone want to take that one? I mean, right off the bat.
I'm sorry. Let me.
You mean like a record?
Like a record or a merry-go-round?
Like a record, yeah.
Well, yeah, you could do it, but if you did, you're going to run into centrifugal force at the outer markers. I mean, you're going to run into. I mean, if you are spinning, I don't care which direction you're spinning it, you would run into escalating centrifugal force in the continents that are in the southern hemisphere by definition.
You also have to have Coriolis effect and water. It's
the
water.
The amount of vortex
water in the center.
In fact, sorry, the question is like, okay, sorry, I have to throw this in there. On a flat Earth, you're kind of mixing things. Why would you have Coriolis effect on a flat disk? Why would you add a spin to it? Unless you're just kind of going with the globe, and it's like, but you're not the first person to ask it. There have been a number. In fact, I think it was Vsauce. He was one of the first people to suggest it years ago. You know, a big YouTube channel called Vsauce when he was talking about flat Earth. So. No.
I mean, I look at it, if the oceans were spinning, the amount of vortexes we would experience would be crazy. It's kind of like when you stir your coffee and it just starts going faster and faster. I mean, that would cause mayhem in our oceans if we were
We
actually
have no
spinning.
water in the North Pole in the center. It would all be pushed out.
Yeah. Let me throw this in there. I'm trying to hold this globe with one hand. Okay, I've got a couple globes. Actually, my brother-in-law gave me these, and I want to show off. I'm going to use this for an example during Strange Lounge because I got a great little breakdown of gravity versus the vacuum of space that Master Gunner and I worked on. So, if the globe was actually spinning, right, and we're just going to talk about water right now. Yes, you remember centrifugal force would pull everything to the fastest part of the spin, which would be the equator. So you'd have this huge amount of water. You'd have no continents. You'd have no land masses at the center because it would start pooling like a spare tire around the center, around the equator. And so everything from, oh, good Lord, the South Pacific to the top part of South America, it would all, and the middle, and it would cut Africa in half, would just be this huge amount of water, and it'd have to get the water from somewhere, so you'd have these huge bald spots on the North Pole and the South Pole. It would pull from both sides. And so no.
Its weight would increase exponentially too as the amassed amount of fluid was greater, and
shipping.
So you'd have to believe that there's a really heavy duty magical force that's never been proven that's keeping that from flying off of the ball or disc or any other thing. It's just this
Yeah, or pair.
gravity thing is it's ridiculous. Okay,
You can
it's
say
real
retarded.
simple. It's all about the ratio to the medium. That's all. And there's never an instance where an object is not subject to a fluid medium ever. Even in your so-called vacuum chamber, all you have is a very low pressure system. You still have a medium in there. All you've done is thinned it out. It's still, there's a medium in there. It's not completely empty. And the object is still subject to that fluid medium. And whether or not it's a gas or a liquid, you're still subject to it.
And I think it's pretty obvious that the sun and the moon are moving above a level stationary Earth. I mean, that seems to be provable with time-lapse photography, which I don't know why TFE, we don't have to really go there, but I would love to have Sav just hear his thoughts on that. But doesn't the time-lapse photography prove that the lights in the sky were moving above them? So that totally debunks their whole experiment, in my opinion.
Right. They should have been able to just train the camera on the sun and have it remain stationary and follow the sun.
Exactly.
Right?
So if the sun is moving on its own, then that debunks the heliocentric model if it's moving in our atmosphere, first of all. But we don't have to give them that. We could just say if it's moving and the moon is moving above us, the time-lapse photography proves that whatever their experiment was false. We got a couple more questions from the chat. Are any of you guys still in touch with active personnel, and have any of them come to an FE conviction?
Yeah, that's active duty right now still.
Yeah, it could be active, or maybe they've retired, but people that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I've got a few of my buddies. Oh yeah. And we were all subs. All of us were subs. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Are they starting to come to terms with flat Earth, or where are they at with that?
You've got a couple that are still Globers, but for the most part, yeah, they're flat earthers. Yep.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
So someone in the chat was asking what you guys' thoughts on TFE. So like, let's say there is a 24-hour sun in Antarctica, for example. Let's say there is one, right? What would be your guys' thoughts on that? I mean, what would be your thoughts on that, Mark or Sav? Let's say there is a 24-hour sun in Antarctica, okay, for 6 months out of the year, whatever they claim.
Yeah.
The chat was asking, so I thought I'd bring it up.
I've said on this show a bunch of times. One, for me, the sky is instanced. If the sky is part of an artificial system, then whatever happens in Antarctica is just how it works. I've said for 10 going on. By the way, the clues turn 11 years old next week, but whatever. 10 was a big one. 11 years, who cares? I've been saying for 11 years that the weakest argument of flat Earth always has been the Antarctic sun, but only in that you can't have just one light source go do a 24-hour sun in Antarctica if it's on some sort of standard flat disk. However, since I don't believe in just one light source or that there's any really limit to what the sky can do, I think the sky is instanced. You look that up, that's a programming term, then it doesn't really matter. And then I follow that up with no one. I mean, I have not met a single person. I've met a lot of people in the last 10 years in regards to flat Earth, has gotten into flat Earth because of the sun. Right? They get in because of long distance photography, because of physics, or something that has to do with NASA. One of those three things, in physics, I mean the curve on top of it. They get into that. So doing even introducing TFE as an experiment just bugged the crap out of me, and that's why I turned it down. I was like, it's not going to make any difference. In fact, sorry, go ahead.
So here's the thing.
Yeah.
So if it does or doesn't, whatever the sun does, it doesn't matter if you still can't find the curvature on the land.
There you go.
I don't care that much about the skies and all that. They're doing something. I got it. I'm not getting up there to prove it. To actually figure out what it's doing. Well, let's say it's doing that because they say it's a geocentric. Well, then we should have a curve, and we don't have the curves. So that's a contradictory I'm talking about.
Does the 24-hour sun have anything to do with the curvature, with physics, or with NASA? Not a damn thing. Not anything at all. And so I honestly, it made no difference to me whatsoever. It's like, hey, you want to spend $300,000 to send a few people down there? Hey, what happened to your documentary? I don't see it, and it's been a year.
So for me, like I teach in the Bible that the sun moves away from you, right? So it goes it would be going over the flat Earth or the flat plane like that. So that's something I teach. So I would have to recheck all that. You know what I mean? Like, because if it's doing a circle in Antarctica, we don't know what Antarctica obviously looks like. We would think that Antarctica is on the outside, but I would have, that's something in the Bible that I'm teaching, so I have to make sure I find out for sure if I'm teaching that. So for me, it's like I have to know. So I'm trying to do my best. I can't go to Antarctica obviously because I don't have the money to, but I could definitely go to Punta Arenas and at least film that, and see what that data shows. So that's why I'm doing it.
The bottom line to it is this, okay? NASA has had a research station in Antarctica for years. Never have they once produced a 24-hour sun video, even knowing that that's a contention of the flat earth people.
Yeah.
Never once have they done it. We've had stations and bases in Antarctica for almost 100 years now. Nobody, a couple of fakes. There's one or two out there you can tell, then you look and they're loops. And you're like, okay. So in over 100 years of people being down there, it took a couple of YouTubers with a shady ass grifter that ripped off a bunch of people financially, and he's in all kinds of trouble. To go down there and say, yep, oh, look at there's a 24-hour sun down here. Now, what's the most logical explanation? The live feed gets cut. The live feed gets cut because of the Starlink goes down, right? But they remove the video from the platform, what they did have captured, and it went down about the time the sun should have set. I thought that was rather interesting too. So the bottom line is they lied, okay? They lied. There's no need to check on it.
I have two people that this guy's a garage door opener. He installs them. He's got a big company in Orange County. He's coming on my show in a few days, and he does the Arctic and Antarctic, and he installs garage doors for them. So I'm gonna pick his brain and see what he's gonna say. And then I had another guy on my show that he's a pastor, and we're talking about spiritual healing. And behind him, I saw a picture of penguins, and it looked like Antarctica. And I waited the whole entire show to the very end to ask him. I didn't want to base the show on that at all. And he's not a flat earther; he has no skin in the game. But he told me there's a 24-hour sun in Antarctica, so he did confirm it. Now, like I said, he's just a guy coming on talking about spiritual healing. So he did confirm it. And then in a couple of days, I'm going to talk to a guy that actually installed garage doors. I don't know what he's going to say yet. Yeah, he'll let me know, but I don't know what his experience is with it. But he goes out there all the time to install garage doors. He's got a contract for a company. He's got a big company out in Orange County. So I'll see, and that's something that, I just think that if that is true, that we need to explore it, and we need to explore it, if that makes sense.
Well, it still doesn't prove curvature, right? None of that proves curvature. So that's huge. That's what keeps us here. That's why we're all still talking about it. But as far as optics go, we don't know what the ether exactly is made up of. We don't know what these balls of light, we don't know every single aspect of how this place works optically or energetically. So is it possible? Of course it is. I mean, look at Joe Hanby. He's able to kind of demonstrate light appearing in two places at one time. One maybe physical source in one location, projecting in another location. So is that possible? Sure. I think that what TFE set out to do was to destroy flat Earth, and they did absolutely not for me and for us here. So that's the bottom line. So while we are winding down, Mark, any closing thoughts?
Only that the people that are here tonight, and again, thank you everybody for your service. It reinforces what I have known for a decade now, which was one of the early things that happened in my YouTube stuff, is that subject matter experts started coming forward, and most of them were military. The very first one was military, and they just kept stacking on top of each other to where within a year, we had this wonderful collection from all branches, and they were all saying the same. I never even, all unsolicited, I had no idea that everyone would come forward and say the same thing. Yeah, the firing solution that they use in this branch is, nobody used the same. Everybody reinforced the same thing, which was everything we work with says the world is flat. It's not spinning. There's nothing to indicate that we're living on some sort of globe. And it was humbling for me to where I was on the defensive. It's like, this can't actually be happening, because even then I was waiting for the other shoe to drop, and it never did. Where after I had all these people, again, the playlist is still on my channel after all these years. I was like, after the first 6 months, like, wow, holy smokes. I mean, these guys convinced me even more than I was convincing myself. And they did it with, just by calling me up or shooting me an email. It's like, yeah, it's not that nuts. Here's why. Wow.
Can I ask you a question, Mark?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. So back in 2015, when you first came out with the Flat Earth Clues, like, what were you researching to be able to get all that information?
Initially, I was there very little. Initially,
there must not been much, No,
there was not a lot out there. My first guy in the documentary got this right. The first guy I looked at was a Canadian guy named Matt Boylan, who ended up changing his name to Math Powerland. Horrible stage name, by the way, Matt. And it was I looked at him first. And then only like several months later, I didn't even know Eric Dubé was a thing. And it's like, oh yeah, Eric Dubé's doing some stuff. There was only like a couple guys out of Europe. And what I initially did, and I said this in various things, which was I went the route of, instead of doing the whole curvature formula, I didn't even know there was a curvature formula. I went as straight at NASA, which was so many people do. It's like, well, NASA will save me, right? NASA will pull me out of this insanity that's flat Earth. All I have to do is go down the NASA road, and then I was staring, going, wait, what the hell? Again, the analogy I used was you go into a room filled with all these huge boxes that say NASA evidence, right? And you start going through them, and you're just finding nothing but freaking packing popcorn. And by the time you're at the end, the room is just scattered, and you realize all the boxes were empty. And then I just started, connecting the dots, which was, sorry, real quick. I know everyone needs a chance to say their final thing, which is the NASA thing led me to Admiral Byrd. Admiral Byrd led me to the Antarctic Treaty. The Antarctic Treaty led me back to NASA and the high altitude atomic weapons tests, followed by the Van Allen belts. And then each one of those really became their own clue. And that's when I said, all right, I'm just going to put it out there and say, hey, internet, I don't think it's a globe anymore. Prove me wrong. And honestly thought they were going to shoot me down, and they didn't. So yeah, very little, just connect the dot evidence, and everybody else filled in the blanks. People like who are on this panel right now, and their brethren. It's been awesome.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and I forget that you didn't put out all the clues at once. You started with, what was it, the first one while you were still investigating this stuff?
Yeah,
So
I
anyway.
was still doing it. It wasn't like I came up with the whole thing. I was like, I'm just going to do one clue at a time, and I had no idea what I was going to do every day. I just put it slowly together. It wasn't a stroke of genius. Never told. Seriously, you guys can review it real quick. Which is, I never told anyone in any clue to go to a beach with a camera and start doing long distance photography. Never said it once. In fact, I had people calling me. She's like, you really should tell people to do this. Like, why? Because it's perfectly flat. Water lays level. I mean, I was learning as I was going along. Community came back at me. It wasn't an echo chamber. The community was filling in the blanks for me. And then, together we just kept moving forward, and then bigger and snowball and so on and so on. And that's what was so awesome about it.
Well, and we see the effects of, all of you that have been outspoken on this topic for much longer than I have, I'm noticing how much people are influenced just from all the different aspects. And there's gonna be a lot of people watching tonight that just really thank you for your service of being former military, and how that can help give them, a little bit more peace of mind, because we're all dealing with something, whether it's our family or our friends that aren't giving us the time of day on these topics. And as we continue to educate ourselves and give us that peace of mind, like, look, we're not the ones who are crazy. This place isn't spinning. There's no curvature, and it's at a really special location. And whether you take the biblical route, which has given me so much hope and peace, or if you're kind of on the fence with that, knowing that this place is special, again, is so important. And thank you all for just giving us your insights and your time, and for being here, and for all you've done to just not just help Flat Earth, but help truth, and to question everything and leave no stone unturned. And I know you all do a great job of that. So thank you again. And I want to just give everyone a chance to finish with their closing thoughts.
I got a question for the panel. So this is also my closing thoughts. I think I've changed a lot because of what I'm doing now, because of this understanding of what this place isn't, right? And so my question to everybody and the chat, right, is after you learned of the flat Earth and you got it, you came to that eureka moment. how did you change, and by how much did you change as a person? That's all I got. That's that. And I'm gonna land my plane with that right there. Let you guys fight amongst that question right there. You feel me?
Well, why don't you go first? That's a good one.
Do you want to answer it first, Flat?
Damn it! Damn.
Well,
Well,
no, we could go with
Great
somebody else
point.
first. You want to
yeah, I'll
wanna
go
go
last. I'll go last.
Okay.
Yeah, please. Yeah, because I want to hear this.
Josh, upper corner, you go first. How did it change you?
Okay.
What did you do?
Oh, it changed because I realized, through the Bible that God is like local, he's right above the firmament. I learned just doing deep dives, and Rob Skiba was one of the guys I kind of studied in the beginning, which Mark Sargent kind of brought him to Flat Earth. So it just made me dig deeper into the Bible and kind of break things down in a different way, start looking into the Strong's Concordance, lexicons, and it just showed me that I need to find out what each individual word means. So when I'm presenting this type of information, I'm presenting it correctly, and it's assisted me with my Bible studies because I'm kind of doing the same thing on my show now, but not with just Flat Earth stuff, but just with the whole entire Bible. Now I'm going through the whole Word of God, from all through Genesis to Revelation, so it's assisted me in my studies. I'll say that, and it's brought me closer to God, and that's the main thing, for me, is as long as it's bringing me closer to God, and it's giving me, it's having me dig deeper in the Bible. And I've also jumped on so many different shows that it's opened up avenues for me to, for people that maybe don't believe the Bible. It kind of opens up their mind a little bit to start studying. And it's just something I think that it's kind of like a bait that I could use to kind of reel people in to the Word of God. And that's what my whole show is based on. Taking a conspiracy, show how it relates to the Bible. And this conspiracy is baiting people in to want to know more about the Bible. And that's what my whole basis is, is to bring people to Jesus and have people get saved. And I think it's a way of opening up people's minds to the Word of God, and that the Word of God is true as opposed to science. And that's what I do. I basically take what science says and show you what the Bible says, and I let you guys decide on what's true. And if you're a Christian, obviously I would think that you would take the Bible as being true, and you would filter everything that you've had in science and filter it through the Bible, And if the Bible doesn't say it, then for me, it just cannot be true, because God is the one that created this heaven and earth, And I know if you're not Christian, that doesn't relate to you. But for me, I think that's what I think people should understand, that the information in the Bible about creation is God explaining it, speaking to Moses, face to face. And that's what it says in Numbers 12 verses 4-8, is that God spoke to him face to face. So he's not going to give Moses some watered down version of creation. He's going he does it all for his glory, as it says in Psalms 19:1. It's all for his glory, and he cannot lie. It's impossible for him to lie, is what it says in the Bible. And I stand by that. So yeah, I just think that's for me what it did.
Brian Burton, Master Gunner. How did it change you? I know you're not going to be. Go do it. How did it change you? You can be brief.
All right, it didn't change me that much because I'm always searching. You know me, I'm analytical, so I'm always.
Yeah.
Someone brings a question up, I'm going to research it all up. I will end it with the same thing as. I'll quote it like this: "Science is not a lie. Scientists do lie. Science is seeking truth. I believe God made science. He is the one to do it. Now, what they're telling us, scientists are saying, not true. We need to figure it out and see how we have our world working."
All right. Cool. Sovereign, what you got?
Well, I'd have to say it answered a lot of questions to me. At the very first, I thought Flat Earth. When I first saw it coming around, I was like, "Oh, this is a distraction from the WikiLeaks." That's what this is, And then a friend of mine said, it's like pet rock. It's a fad or something like that, right? Because it was around that same time.
Yeah.
And as a friend of mine came to me and he says, "Hey, did you know the Earth's flat?" And I'm like, "Oh, Christ, that's just a thing, right?" And he goes, "No, look," he says, and I thought, okay, this is bigger than I thought. So I went on to debunk it. Well, the rest is history. But the reality of it is that it showed me that without a doubt, there is a creator. Without a doubt, there is a creator, a benevolent creator. And that without a doubt, there is a malevolent force within this creation that's trying to destroy us. And on every level, they've given us this magnificent artificial amnesia where we don't know who we are, where we are, or when we are.
Yeah.
And I think what it's done, it's actually brought me closer to God. That's for sure, because it allayed any doubts that I had in his existence. Any doubts that I had went away right there. And like I said, the Jenga tile of deceit, boom, pull it down, that whole tower falls, because you start finding out, like I said, you've been given this amnesia, who you are, where you are, and when you are. And it's just about to the point where everything you're told, it's the opposite of that. Okay. It's just the opposite of that. You just have to go by that, you know, and then sort it out. So I think that's what it's done for me. Yeah.
Cool. DJ?
I mean, everything that you guys said, I agree completely. I've shared my journey I come from an unlikely place to come over here to Flat Earth. There wasn't a lot of incentive. I was fighting it tooth and nail, but I was actively seeking proof of a creator. And I was studying cosmology. I was studying just the NASA cosmology, what we were taught, trying to understand the ins and outs of it. I was studying New Age stuff, really open to any possibility there. And then I was like, I need to get to these ancient texts. And I just poured myself into the word and was getting completely just mind blown. And the rest is kind of history. But for me, it's definitely given me a puzzle piece for my faith. I'm like you guys. I know there's a creator. I'm trying to figure out my place in it and kind of be in alignment with truth. I just want the truth in all things and open to whatever that is. But most important is just seeking that. And yeah, so thank you guys.
And for me, before I turn over to Vlad, real quick, Flat Earth changed my life. It saved my life, for lack of a better term, in that it gave, not only did it give me a purpose in a time where mentally I was more understimulated than I've ever been, it gave me a new relationship with God that I didn't even think was possible. It gave me a new perspective and a new definition of where we are and how the whole thing works. And it's great. So, Vlad?
Yeah, man, all that is deep. And that's really, really insightful from everybody. I really appreciate that. As far as for me, it just showed me, once I realized that this place was flat and everything else that implied behind it, it just showed me how flawed I was. And it put a big old mirror to my face. And basically it revealed to me that I was lying. I was accepting lies and being lied to and lying to myself to a degree. Right. And it made me realize that this place, like we're all so flawed that I don't even think I don't think we understand how flawed we are, in that these lies that we've been given, like they basically shaped the type of people that we've come to be. And now we have to remove that from our system. Does that make any sense? Yeah. And so it revealed to me that, like, I'm like, damn, like everything is a lie. Plus I've been lying to myself. Now I have to find a way to change that. So it's made me really appreciate the truth of things, right? How things truly are, or how they appear to be, right? And like it's forced me to change, and it's forced me to change my mind so much that it's like I don't want to lie. You know what I'm saying? Like I could lie, of course, to save my own hide or save somebody else. Yes, but it makes me watch what it is I say and watch how it is I think. So I feel that this shift is occurring, not just for me, and it allowed me to change, but I think people are soon going to start to realize, if they want much of their situation, in whether it's in the United States or as a person, that you have to be ready to change. You have to be willing to accept what reality is, and you have to want to change. And then as soon as you change, like, magical things start happening. Now I know it sounds mad corny, I get it, right? I get it. But just imagine if people could see much of what it is we've already seen with this flat earth. Let's say half the population saw it. Could you imagine could you picture the amount of change that would take place just because of the introspection all by itself?
Right.
That's what I see. And when I see that, this is why, to me, this is it. This is why, to me, like it needs to go to people, because I feel that with the information that you get, you can make an informed decision, right? But if you're getting fed misinformation, you're going to make a misinformed decision. You're going to make a bad decision every time because you've been given a lie the whole time. That's it. That's all I got, man.
All right. I know we ran a little bit over, guys, but no worries. We're going to be transitioning over to Strange Lounge on DJ Curious channel. Just so you guys know, DJ will put that link in the chat box here in just a minute, and we'll be jumping over there.
It's going to be a good one, right?
It's going to be a good one. Yeah, I've got a little demo I'm going to do with the globe. It's going to be fun. Master Gunner's given me a new perspective on gravity and molecules, and I've got it. It's a cool little breakdown I'm going to add to any interview I do. DJ doesn't even know this one yet.
Ooh, that's cool.
Yes.
Strange Lounge exclusive coming.
Yeah, Strange Lounge exclusive. Okay, so we will be, thank you again. Thank you to all our guests. Appreciate it. You know what? Let's do a plug really fast. Master Gunner, I know you don't plug social media. That's fine. Josh, where can we find you?
Josh Monday _ podcast on Instagram, and then on YouTube is Josh Monday Music and Podcast, and then also on any audio platform is Josh Monday Christian and Conspiracy Podcast. And you can also find me on Cult to Conspiracy, where I'm doing Bible studies, and then on my show I also do Bible studies as well. Cool. 2 Bible studies a week.
Sovereign Soul, where can we find you?
Sovereign Soul Unchained Mind on YouTube. Also Sov's Place on YouTube is my backup. We'll be on there for the next week because of a strike I got. And also SSUM, what is it, 369? Hang on a second here. Yeah, SSUM 369 on Rumble. Okay. I'm always live on there. So if something gets taken off or clipped, or have to redact portions of a stream that we do, then it'll always be up full on Rumble. And I always offer a link so anybody can come up, speak your mind, and as long as you can observe conversational decorum, you can stay.
Right on. Right. Vlad, where can we find you?
Solid. Hey, Ironwork 92,000 on YouTube. You can also find me on as Iron Earth 92,000 on the Rumble side. So I do Tuesdays and Fridays, True Earth Tuesdays, Flat Earth Fridays. Every once in a while, I'll jump in during the week and during the weekend, and I'll mess around. But yeah, you can catch me doing that, or you might find me on somebody else's channel, just chopping it up with them. But you guys stay safe.
All right. And we're going to do the goodbye round. So we'll be back next week. Same flat time, same flat channel. Say goodnight, DJ.
Good night, Strange World. Thanks so much to everyone for being here. Go like and subscribe to their channels. And you guys stay strong, stay strange, and stay curious. We'll see you in the after party.
Say goodnight, Josh.
Thank you guys so much. Appreciate you. Thank you, DJ. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Vlad. Thank you, Sov. And thank you, Master Gunner. Very nice to meet all of you, and I do appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. Say goodnight, Sovereign.
Good night, Sovereign.
Nah, I see what you did there. Say goodnight, Vlad.
That's the correct
Hey,
response.
family, you guys have a good night. I love you guys. Love the chat. You guys are amazing. See you on Friday.
Say goodnight, Master Gunner.
Thanks for y'all meeting y'all, and everybody keep researching.
Right on. All right, we're going to be leaving with Alex Lowry. So we doing our thing for a couple of minutes, if I can find it. So, yeah, see you guys next time.
All right. Great work, everybody. That was fun.
How long our lovers stay. wound up chasing stars all over again. There's words for what you got, what you have, and what you'll ever need. There's love so many nights, so many nights, so many ways to believe.
Paige needs to get into her PJs with her cup of cocoa and her 6 marshmallows. Night, Mark.
Karen,
Jared,
let's get to the lounge.
you're not on tonight, Karen.
Like Jack.
You're 2 hours late.
You realize it's the same link every week. It never changes.
Yeah, I know. I should paste it somewhere, I think. And if you made it this far, cartoon bonus. Come on. Ooh. Katy Perry.
Katy